What's going on, brother man?
Well, we got to fire the engineers.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter Baumgart's behind the glass. He's pushing the buttons. He's monitoring the NicoletLaw.com talking text line 877-794-1973. And he's about to become a music producer because for the second day in a row, we have a musician in the studio with us. Yesterday was our pal Willie Porter, Wisconsin's finest.
Mm-hmm. He's the best.
One of the monsters. And today we welcome Steve Poltz to the program, who is playing at Shank Hall this evening on Milwaukee's East Side. And if you've not heard of Steve, he will quickly become one of your all-time favorites. Steve, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for coming in, man.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. We've been talking off the air about your long baseball connections because we'll get to that momentarily. But you've played in Milwaukee many a time.
I have, and I love Milwaukee. And this is the perfect fall day. This morning, I was walking around with my friend Brett Newski. He's a musician here.
He's one of our favorites.
He's a good friend of ours. He's
Absolutely.
been in several times on this show.
Oh, yeah. Got all beamed up on coffee. He took me to the Pabst Museum.
Oh.
We wandered around, and it was great. And he loves you guys.
Newski's
Brett's
amazing.
Great. Yeah, he is
absolutely
great.
love him and love having you in. You're playing Shank Hall tonight. And for folks who give us the Cliff's Notes of pack your 40-year career into a Cliff's Notes. So you go the Rug Burns days, your musical journey.
Yeah, I've traveled all around this great country playing songs with my guitar. I was in a band called the Rug Burns. We used to always shoot up to Milwaukee, and that sounded bad. We used to always shoot up.
Shoot up. Well, back in the day,
drive up, fly up,
drive up, travel in a
van up.
Yeah, we used to van up and man up. We used to come up here and have a really good time. And I've always come here. I've played Summerfest before, and I've had a bratwurst before.
Of course. And you are one of the few people who there's millions of people who can say that they've attended a game in Milwaukee, either a county stadium, what was now American Family Field, and initially was Miller Park, but not everybody can say they ran in a sausage race.
Oh my God. So the Padres were playing the Brewers, and I was following the Padres around the country. Like in between gigs, I would fly to see them in Miami and all over the place. Wherever the Padres were, I would fly out there. And so at the time, I was seeing them a lot. My buddy Tim Flannery was the third base coach for the Padres. And the manager was Bruce Bochy, who used to be the catcher for the Padres. And Tim Flannery was a second baseman. And if you recall, back in the day in 1984, he's the guy who hit the grounder through Leon Durham's legs. Right. And then the Padres ended up defeating the Cubs and going on.
Winning 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Down 2-0, and then they vanquished them.
Yes. And then we got vanquished by the Tigers. But it was crazy. It was a crazy time. Dick Williams, if you remember him, the manager and all that. And so then I got to know those guys really well. So I remember I followed him up to Milwaukee, and Flannery said he came back to his hotel room. This is back in the days where your message light would be blinking on your hotel phone rather than having your iPhone or your Droid there sending pictures. And he was like, oh my God, he's here again. And so I had the wildest time with the Padres about a week before that in Miami, and I threw Bruce Bochy's minibar out of his hotel room window and destroyed it, and it caused $467 of damage. So Bruce Bochy sees me, and he says, Poltz, you owe me $467 for a minibar, and we had a meeting. You're not allowed to stay in the same hotels as us anymore. The traveling secretary banned me from staying in the same hotels.
That's awesome.
So I was in Milwaukee, and I think it was called Miller back then, was it?
Miller Park,
yeah, in the 90s. Yeah, late 90s. And so I went to the games, and that day, Bochy says to me, why don't you come down and sing to the players in the dugout? So I sang this song called 98 Pounder. And then he said, why don't you go out in the field and shag fly balls while Tony Gwynn takes batting practice? So this was like Ferris Bueller's Day Off for me. So I got to do that in Milwaukee. And then I went out, and I'm sitting there, and these security guards come up to me. They go, are you Steve Poltz? And I go, yeah. And they go, oh, they want you to come sit by Jerry Coleman while he calls the game. And Jerry Coleman was the voice of the Padres. And Jerry Coleman, legendary guy. He played second base for the Yankees back in the day. He's a guy who left to go fight in World War II and fly planes. God bless him. Yeah. Then he came back managed the Padres a little bit and then became the voice of the Padres. So they let me sit by Jerry Coleman while he calls the game.
Oh, that's so cool.
I did that. And then Jerry Coleman was laughing. I had him smiling. He goes, "Hey, how would you like to sit next to the Uke next inning?" So he brings me in. I get to sit by Bob Uecker. And he actually said his great tagline, which was wonderful. Great seats, buddy. Must be in the front row. And then I'm sitting there with Uecker. He couldn't have been kinder to me. And then a security car comes back up and he goes, "Hey, they want you to run the sausage races in the 7th inning." And I go, "Are you kidding me?"
What a day.
And so this truly was amazing. And talk about profiling me. They made me Polish sausage.
Perfect.
And so Poltz becomes Polish sausage. I go out there, and out of 5 sausages, I took 5th.
But you probably had the most fun.
Now,
This is on YouTube. If you type in Steve Poltz sausage races Milwaukee, you'll see me.
We'll find it.
And then after that, they say, "How would you like to have dinner with Tony Gwynn?" So I get to go back down there and have dinner with Tony Gwynn.
Wow.
It was the perfect
That's
Milwaukee
a perfect
day.
fan day. We can't top that. That's
No.
amazing.
Years ago, because Matt and Mud and all these guys that we know, when Matty was calling the games here, I was it was only a 4-game run because I was a little bit like, no, that's not really what we're looking for in the television broadcasts, because I was like the man in the stands. So they were going to me, and the team lost 100 games. So it was just Matty and I, just doing shenanigans, and they put me in the sausage race. I ran the sausage.
You did it too.
Mic'd up.
Yeah.
So I was mic'd up.
Did you
broadcasting?
Huffing and
No,
puffing.
I won.
You won?
But the reason I won is they let me win. And I was out. This is the old county stadium, and I was out waiting to go. And I knew I was going to go out there. So I'm sitting up in the stands, and I see a buddy who I went to college with. And I go, "Hey, Jimmy." He goes, "What?" I go, "Bet the sausage race big and give odds."
Yeah.
And bet the bratwurst. He goes, "Why?" I go, "Because I'm the bratwurst. I'm
You're gonna win.
Yes.
The fix was in that day.
The fix was in on the
Hold your
race.
tickets.
But did you
You were like pre-FanDuel.
True.
did you but the thing about being in the sausage race or any like mascot costume, did you feel the same way? I got in there and I'm like, this is about as close as you can get to being invisible.
You know what was weird? They're tall, and they're so tall.
Oh, they're hard to run with, yeah.
And in my defense, Your Honor, I would like to say the other 4 people were soccer players from Marquette.
Oh, that's unfair.
Yeah, no,
I couldn't hang with that.
That's unfair. Yeah.
It's not.
You should have been against some bullpen catchers or something.
Right.
But I just always have fond memories of being in Wisconsin.
That's fantastic. Steve Poltz is with us. He's playing a show tonight at
Mhm.
Shank Hall. How many shows are you playing? You're our true troubadour.
Yeah, I do about 180 a year.
That's a lot. That's heavy.
You know what my rating is on the Marriott Bonvoy app?
Oh, let's see. Your lifetime, you're beyond, what goes beyond platinum? Let's see. Your diamond. No, what is your lifetime? What's the high? I'm trying to think of the highest of the high.
Ambassador Elite.
Ambassador Elite.
That's
You
man,
know,
you get the
Beyond
Rain Man
platinum,
suite.
diamond. Yeah,
You know what's funny? There's always a special line for the Bonvoy ambassadors things and stuff. And I get in that line, and sometimes there'll be like 4 business people ahead of me, and then they see me, and they always say, "Excuse me, sir, this is for
and then
ambassadors." And then I go, "I am ambassador." And they go, "We're sorry. Would you like a 4 p.m. checkout? Here's a couple bottles of water."
that's fantastic.
In Las Vegas, those 2 bottles of water would be a $52 value.
That's true.
for
On top of the
bottles.
resort fee.
At
Yeah.
Woodstock 99, it would have been.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
played Woodstock 99, and there's a video out on Netflix. Maybe you've heard of Netflix.
I did. I
Yeah.
watched it where they just burned the whole
It's
thing
called
down.
Trainwreck. Woodstock 99. Trainwreck's a series. I'm in episode 2 of Trainwreck, and I had written a hit song with a girl named Jewel, a singer from Homer, Alaska. And she had this record out called Pieces of You. It was her first
Mhm.
record, and we got to live at Neil Young's ranch. Stray Gators were the band, and I was the guitarist. And so we wrote this huge hit of hers called You Were Meant for Me. And so we're at Woodstock 99 playing it. Now, Limp Bizkit had played it. There were riots going on. We were the penultimate act on Sundays. So for those of you keeping track, penultimate is the second to last. I don't mean to be condescending to you. Condescending means when you talk down to someone. So I was the penultimate act. There I was. We go on. There's riots happening. We sing You Were Meant for Me. All the Limp Bizkit people that were going nuts just calmed down, and they were like, dreams last so long, even after you're gone. You were meant for me, and I was meant for you.
You sued the savage beast.
We soothed it. And then after us, going on was the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And of course, Flea, as you remember, played naked, didn't even have a sock over his bratwurst. Since I'm in Milwaukee, I'm speaking your language.
Yes, you are. Absolutely.
Maybe you understand me now. Speaking of bratwurst, I want to eat at a place called the Bratwurst House maybe before I play my show tonight at Shank Hall. I'd like to remind the listeners out there, I'm playing Shank Hall. You're listening to Steve Poltz on the fabulous
Drew and KB show.
Drew and KB show.
There we go.
Yep. The coaching. Very little. But
Drew and KB show. I love Drew and KB. But anyways, so we played Woodstock 99. Then the riots happened. This place was set on fire. But before he went on, I saw Flea and he's naked. Flea was naked about to go on because that's how he played at Woodstock 99. And by the way, he should not be named Flea. And so he sees me and I was with Jewel, and Jewel goes, and I didn't know where to look. When you're talking to Flea from the Chili Peppers, where do you look? If he's naked, do you look him in the eyes or do you look at his wiener? And so I was looking down, of course. And so Jewel said, stop it. And she whispers in my ear. And then Flea looks at me and goes, I don't feel comfortable right now. And so then he goes to go on stage. And so he went to high five me. I low wienered him. And so he goes on stage and the Chili Peppers are on stage and all you could hear was, what I got to give it to your mama. And the place goes up in flames. We got out of there on our tour buses. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here with Drew and KB show today.
You wouldn't have survived. Yeah, that was
on this beautiful.
That was crazy.
What a night. So, yes, you have the co-write on Jewel's biggest hit, right?
Yeah, You Were Meant for Me.
You Were Meant for Me. That's huge. But you've been playing so many bands, so many shows, but your baseball connection, that's how I became aware of you because I was a baseball writer and my buddies on the West Coast especially. And your pal, Tim Flannery, who's a musician himself, singer-songwriter, can hold his own.
He's great.
He's so, you guys captivated the baseball writing. Most baseball writers are like Springsteen guys, a lot of alt country type guys too. Old 97s are friends of ours.
Rhett, he's a good buddy of mine.
Rhett's a good friend of our program.
Isn't there a bar here called Flannery's?
Mm-hmm. There was, yes.
I went there with Tim Flannery and we played. Holy wow, you just reminded me of it.
See, and Flans with Bruce Bochy, and you guys were, it was just like this whole thing back in the early 2000s, late 90s when Padres went to that World Series in 98. From that time, and then
I blacked out the fact that I was here with Flannery singing at Flannery's.
Yes, you guys.
This is Drew.
Shows.
This is Drew and KB's memory care show.
This is it.
You're exactly me become a better person. I'm making money being on this show,
and people are coming to Shank Hall to see you tonight because they're hearing you right now, and you're worth the trip. But you're a true troubadour, playing 180 shows a year. StevePoltz.com. Is that where we should send people?
Poltz.com. Poltz.com.
Poltz.com. You'll fit right in here with our population here. A lot of people have Z's in their last name.
Yeah.
Or multiple Z's.
Generally preceded by a C.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
That's true. There's a lot of that. But so musically now you were in Nashville. Now you've moved back to San Diego because I think of you and I get this vision of like San Diego in my head.
Totally. I reek of SoCal.
Yes. Yes, you do. And you kind of grew up there after coming from Canada and landing in Southern California. And that's where your roots are. That's where musically, right? You started your band.
Dude, I moved to Southern California because my dad got out of Canada because it was too cold. And so he moved us to Southern California. And that was where I grew up. But I can still sing the Canadian national anthem. So I got that going for me, which is nice.
So, well, we were talking about this earlier. You have allegiances to San Diego because you kind of came up there, but you're from LA and originally a Dodgers fan. You're from Canada. You're a dual citizen. So you can't lose this World Series. Either your family, the Blue Jays win and your family's happy, or the Dodgers win and your childhood team wins.
Yeah, I'm a Padres fan, and people get so mad at me when I say this, but I also like the Giants when Bochy and Flannery were there because they won 3 World Series. And so I became super into that whole thing. And, the whole story of Madison Bumgarner, and carrying the team. There's always one person that comes out that you don't expect that's going to carry the team. And right now, it's Savage.
Yes.
Yes, Savage. No Savage.
Incredible.
No Savage. Yes, Savage.
Yes,
22 years old. What a gem this kid is.
Started the season in the Florida State League and ends it by pitching one of the best games in the World Series.
He's pitched more postseason games than he has regular games in the MLB. I'm sorry my voice got higher, but I'm really excited.
Steve
and
Poltz
my balls haven't
us.
Dropped yet.
We're going to have you sing a song momentarily, but first, it's like, because you're so friendly with Boch, and Boch is the nicest gentleman. Anybody, when you're covering baseball, you get to know your manager really well, and it's often a love-hate thing. It's almost like a marriage. You see each other more than you see your spouse, because you're on the daily. You talk to him before the game, you talk to him after the game, every day from February till November, October. It's a long slog, and you have those things. But when you go visit the other manager, a lot of times they're like, "Oh, what do you want?" But Boch was always so welcoming. He said, "Hey, pull up a chair." He just one of the realest dudes, and he was very smart, baseball savant. But every time I see Boch, I think of a line from Aaron Boone, and it's a brain buster that has occupied us at bars after games for years. Aaron Boone said, "What would you rather have? $1 million in cash or Bruce Bochy's head stuffed with nickels?"
Whoa.
We're like, whoa.
He has a huge head.
His head is like an 8, size 8.
Right.
It's like he has a ginormous.
That's a good question.
And so we sit for hours and debate this.
Let's ask Rain Man. He'll know.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one of my all-time favorite Boch line. And it's when you see, like, you walk by a TV and there's the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and there's like a big Burger King head or something. Somebody will invariably say, "Oh, there's Boch." Anytime you see somebody with an oversized head, it's like Bochy, and it's become like shorthand amongst the baseball writers.
Greatest.
But he's the nicest, sweetest man, and the Padres always had a great vibe. And he and Flan, they're dynamic. And our friend Mike Maddox, who's the pitching coach for Boch in Texas, when he lived here and worked for the Brewers, he was a listener. He would call our show under an alias. It would crack us up. We knew it was him, but the listeners didn't know it was him.
Oh my God. I love Mike Maddox.
One of the best. And
he's so cool.
And
you know
crazy
him?
brother Greg. Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. So there's all this crossover with Steve, and we are music geeks. Our show's about sports and stuff, but the stuff is mostly music.
Dude, I loved Greg Maddox. I like a pitcher that loses velocity on his fastball, but still has that location. Can we talk about Mad Max Scherzer for a minute too?
How about him getting it
this
done?
Guy yelling, "Don't take me out of the game, Schneider. You're not taking me out."
So old school.
Yeah.
No, man.
Cool. Yeah, Maddox, his advice to pitchers never worked, because most guys, when they get in a jam, they try to throw harder. His advice was always try easier.
Yeah.
It's very Zen-like. He's like, you need to try easier. Like, how do you do that? It's
2-2,
it's 2-2. I gotta hump this. It's like you standing in a tee box trying to hit a golf ball.
You can't. You can't squeeze
try
it.
Easier.
You can't squeeze it
and then let it
That's
go.
good advice.
Good advice in life. Exactly.
I'm making money being on this show. I should just hang out in the parking lot all the time here and start my own.
Your guy Newski's got a couple books out and stuff, and we should like compile all this like baseball and music wisdom and put it into a book, like the commandments of baseball and music. Because a lot of our baseball friends and people in the sports world, they love the music world, and the guys in the music world love the sports world, and the overlap is always fascinating to me.
And a good friend of ours started a thing in Boston called Hot Stove Cool Music. You would have been perfect with that, because it's Peter Gammons, and
I love Peter Gammons.
Yeah, Peter Gammons and his all-stars, and it's guys from Buffalo, Tom Theo Epstein, and they've had Evan Dano from the Lemonheads.
I was just hanging out with Evan 2 weeks ago at the Ryman in Nashville.
I saw the video of that show.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
And
so cool.
And if you go to YouTube, there is the one night we were there, I think it was the last one we were at, Bronson Arroyo.
Yeah, I remember.
Comes out and does a 4-song 1990s Pearl Jam set.
Whoa.
4 songs right off of 10.
It. Yeah.
And he had the long cargo pants on and all of that stuff going
channeling his
crazy.
head better. Yep.
And you've got it's on YouTube. I'll send you a link, because you're going, oh my God, we were just sitting there just screaming because he was so good.
Yep.
Dude,
terrific. We've had some good times with
Do you know the photographer Danny Clinch?
Yes.
So he took all these Springsteen photos and all these Pearl Jam photos a lot. So my buddy wrote this book, and it's called Deliver Me from Nowhere, and there's a movie out now about Springsteen. So My buddy,
Warren
I'm
Zanes.
really good friends with Warren Zanes. So Zanesy, in fact, he invited me to go to Nashville with him to the premiere, and I was on the road playing somewhere. But Zanes wrote that book, so I went out to Asbury Park when they were making that movie, and so Greta Van Fleet, the band Greta Van Fleet, was playing the '70s band.
They're the E Street Band.
Yeah, they're playing the band, and so they're playing at the Stone Pony and all that. So they're filming the movie, and I go out there to see Danny Clinch. Danny Clinch wants me to play a show in his photography studio. He does shows. Jackson Brown just played there. It's really cool. So I'm about to play the show, and he goes, "I'm trying to get the boss to come in." But the boss didn't come in, but Warren Zanes did, because he was there every day, because they're the book by Warren Zanes is Delivering Me from Nowhere. And by the way, you can get it on audio, and he reads it. Warren Zanes does. It's brilliant. And it's so good they made the movie about the making of Nebraska. And so I'm there, and I play this show for Danny Clinch, and it's packed house. But 10 minutes before I go on, Danny Clinch's phone rings. So he reaches into his back pocket, looks at his iPhone, and he's taking all these pictures of Pearl Jam. He's great friends with Eddie Vedder. And he goes, "It's Ed Ved." And that's how he has him in his phone, Ed Ved. And he goes, puts it back in his pocket. I go, "You're not going to answer it?" And he goes, "No, he likes to talk too long, and I want to see your show." And I go, dude, you have to answer it. Tell Eddie Vedder I wrote a song called Me and Eddie Vedder when I was in the Rugburns. And it's about somebody who likes Eddie Vedder so much he wants to die with him. And so he goes, "Okay." So he goes, Eddie Vedder goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm about to put on a show with this guy. What's his name?" "Steve Poltz." And Eddie Vedder goes, "Steve Poltz, Steve Poltz." And then he goes, "Feeling chugga 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 chugga." He didn't do that, but he goes, "Steve Poltz." He goes, "Why do I know that name?" He goes, "He was in a band called the Rugburns. He wrote a song called Me and Eddie Vedder." And Eddie Vedder goes, "I need to hear it now." So this guy holds the phone out. I sing to Eddie Vedder my song, Me and Eddie Vedder, which does not mention Eddie Vedder till about the 6th verse. And I'm sweating like a hooker in a Catholic church at that moment. I'm singing it, and I finally get to the part of it. And Eddie Vedder listens to the whole song. It ends, and he goes, "No, I guess I have to write you a song." And then I went out on stage and told that story. It was amazing.
That's epic.
That's outstanding.
But what was cool was they were making that movie about Springsteen and about my favorite record ever made by him, which is, of course,
Nebraska.
God, I love that record because I like it how he just goes. He's like, and he's just alone as New Jersey Turnpike, hiding on a wet night, neath the refinery glow, out where the cold gray river flows.
So simple, so raw. Yeah.
And a man standing or a dead dog on a highway in a ditch. And then my little sister's in the front seat with an ice cream cone.
This is
My ma's in the back seat, sitting all alone. I mean, all those stuff
tunes, yeah.
It's in my DNA. I remember when I bought that, and I bought it on a cassette, and I was driving up from San Diego to meet a girl in Santa Barbara named Marcella, who I'd met somewhere, and we were going to have a wing-ding fling in a roadside motel right near the beach in Santa Barbara. And I listened to that all the way up and all the way back. And by the time I got home, I'd practically memorized it all. And it changed my
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Steve Poltz. Play us a Steve Poltz song, and then we'll take a quick break, and we'll come back, and we will just continue to chop it up. And
this is the greatest radio interview I've ever been on. You two are the best ever. And I'm going to start living in the parking lot and start my own shakedown street. And instead of a deadhead, I'm going to become Drew and KB heads. And I'm just going to sell bootleg t-shirts of you guys.
As many fans as we can get.
Yeah.
We're glad to have you.
And grilled cheese sandwiches.
That's true. Let's play a Steve Poltz song.
This is called A Brief History of My Life. Well, we first moved to the USA, all the way from Canada. And we drove across the continent from Nova Scotia to Pasadena. My sister and me and my mom and dad, from the cold to the sunny south. There were palm trees growing and it was not snowing, and I never did shut my mouth. Now we drove on over to the courthouse in downtown Los Angeles. We put our hands on a Bible and we swore as a family that we were not communist. When we drove away, I started to cry. They said, "What's wrong, son? Are you sick?" I said, "I don't want to be an American. I want to be a Catholic." We talk Hollywood and baseball in the car. Hey, the voice of Vin Scully, man, it would travel really far. This is what Vin Scully's voice sounded like to me when I was a kid. There's an airy spiderweb shadow coming into right field at Chavez Ravine. Sandy Koufax walks up to the mound, and he's up to his hips in alligators. 2-2 to Harvey Keene. Get your Dodger dogs. Well, I made my first communion at St. Rita's Catholic Church. There was incense a choking, and a priest was smoking, was a choir up in the perch. My face got red and my stomach felt bad. They said, "If you're gonna get sick, use a cup." Well, I thought by the time it was my turn for communion, Jesus would be all eaten up. We talk Hollywood and baseball in the car. Hey, the voice of Jack Buck, man, it would travel really far. Oh man, Jack Buck, are you kidding me? I was on tour with Jewel in 1997, and we were playing a show in St. Louis, and we went up in the middle of the day to the arch, and we were at the top of the arch, and Jewel, her publicist, called when we were at the top of the arch, and she said, "Mark McGwire wants to meet you tonight at the game. We weren't playing that night. He's offering you free tickets." And Jewel looks at me and she goes, "Who's Mark McGwire?" And I go, "Who's Mark McGwire? He's only going after the home run record set by Roger Maris of 61 home runs in 1961 when he beat Babe Ruth's record. He's chasing Sammy Sosa. It's crazy. You've got to meet him." And she goes, all right. Calm down, Charlie Sheen. So we'll go meet him. So we go there. And then I go into the locker room. She sends me down into the locker room because she's scared to be around Mark McGwire alone in the locker room. So she sends me down like I'm Robert Duvall, her consigliere in The Godfather 2. And you want to see the look of disappointment when I walk in with my skinny, shaggy ass into the locker room. There's Mark McGwire. And so he says, "Where's Jewel?" And I said, "I'll bring her down to you if you let me meet Jack Buck." So I traded Jewel out so I could meet Jack Buck because I was obsessed with Jack Buck, because Jack Buck's voice was different than the reedy tenor-esque voice of Vince Scully. No, Jack Buck's voice sounded like they got an auto mechanic on the hottest day in St. Louis, and he came in and ripped out Jack Buck's vocal cords and dropped them into a glass of 151 rum and set them on fire, and then flew in a veterinarian from Havana, Cuba to sew him back in with a rusty razor and needles. And this is what Jack Buck sounded like to me. "Coming up in the bottom of the ninth inning, Mark McGwire going after the home run record set by Roger Maris. I don't believe what I just saw." Well, my allergies were bad, so we moved to the desert to a city called Palm Springs. We trick-or-treated at Liberace's house. Each finger had a diamond ring. We met Elvis Presley in the middle of the summer, and Elvis hugged my sister for far too long. Well, I felt kind of weird, but I would have pimped her out just to hear him sing a song. We talk Hollywood, baseball in the car. Hey, the voice of Tom Cheek. Man, it would travel really far. Tom Cheek was the voice of the Toronto Blue Jays. He's dead now, too. Whoa, he made that epic call when Joe Carter came up, and the Blue Jays were trying to repeat as World Series champions. They were playing the Philadelphia Phillies. On the mound for the Phillies was Mitch, the Wild Thing Williams, throwing 100-mile-an-hour high-heat fastballs right at people's heads. Mitch, the Wild Thing Williams. Up comes Joe Carter from Oklahoma City, and he steps into the box, and Tom Cheek says, Joe is having trouble trying to lay off that ball low to the outside part of the plate, and he just went after one. Here's a pitch on the way, a swing and a belt, left field, way back, Blue Jays win, the Blue Jays win, and the Blue Jays have repeated as World Series champions as Joe Carter hits a 3-run home run in the bottom of the 9th inning, and the Blue Jays have repeated as World Series champions. And then he makes a call you can never just say out of the blue. He says, touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life. Now here I am, a growing up boy at home on the 4th of July. I'm staring out at the ocean and the fireworks in the sky. I miss my friends who aren't around, the ones who passed away. I'm feeling kind of grateful here in Milwaukee today. We talk Hollywood and baseball in the car. Hey, the voice of Bob Uecker. Man, it'll always travel really far. Great seats, buddy. Must be in the front row.
The co-write is with us. Steve Poltz playing tonight at Shank Hall on Farwell Avenue on the east side of Milwaukee. Wherever you're listening to us, you have time and you have no excuse to not come down and see Steve play a show tonight.
You know what's funny about this song? I'm the guy in the video with her. This was all over MTV and VH1 back in the 90s. And I'm not wearing a shirt and I'm standing behind Jewel with my hand on her face, and sitting in the back. But it's funny. But we got to live at Neil Young's ranch and make that record. And that was the Stray Gators. And Neil Young was freaking out because he couldn't believe how much food I could eat because I'm so skinny. And he was like, this kid's going to eat me out of house and home. And so he tells the Stray Gators one morning, he goes, and it was the morning we recorded You Were Meant for Me. He goes, what? And he had his own private chef called Cookie is what he called him. And so he goes, tells all the guys in the Stray Gators, like all these guys, he says, hey, when Poltzy comes in, don't tell him this, but we're all going to weigh ourselves before breakfast and after, so he won't know why we're doing it. He goes, but I've never seen anybody eat so much. And so he weighs us all, and I was 148 pounds. I've never forgotten this. I stand on the scale, I'm 148, and we all eat, and he goes, oh, okay, let's eat. And I have my usual thing of 3 eggs, bacon, sausage, 6 blueberry pancakes, a waffle, a hot fudge sundae. I mean, all the food was free, a couple crepes, and then a donut, and then another smoothie. And I stood on the scale, and I was 153.5, and Neil Young goes, God dang, that was a 5.5 pounder. And that was our favorite quote. And that was the morning we recorded You Were Meant for Me. So when I play it, it sounds real laid back. That's me going.
It's from The Breakfast.
And we wrote that in Mexico, me and Jewel, on a drug bust in the 90s, which is crazy.
Quite.
These Mexican federales said, would you like to go out with us on a boat ride? And then they got a call, and they had to go get these drug smugglers, and they had a whole bunch of weed on this boat back before you could buy weed at the Apple store. So we ended up on this drug bust, and if you type in Google Jewel drug bust photos, you'll see us in the 90s with all these Mexican federales around us and all this weed shoved into a black Suburban. And so when I woke up in the morning, we had broken into this hotel room. We fell asleep on this king-size bed in Mexico, right on the beach in a place called Bahia de San Luis Gonzaga. And Jewel goes to me, get the guitar, do the thing where you make up a song. And I looked at her and I just started going, I hear the clock, it's 6 a.m. I feel so far from where I've been. I got my eggs, I got my pancakes too. Got my maple syrup, everything but you. I break the yolks, make a smiley face. I kinda like it in my brand new place. I wipe the spots off of the mirror, don't leave the keys in the door. I never put wet towels on the floor anymore, 'cause dreams last for so long. Even after you're gone. And I know that you love me, and soon I know you will see you were meant for me, and I was meant for you. And then came those harmonics.
The harmonics.
And those were used in an episode of The Office. And Steve Carell's singing You Were Meant for Me while a wedding band's doing it. It gets to the part of the harmonics. And he goes, Steve Carell goes, my phone went nuts. And everybody goes, you just influenced television.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Steve Poltz is with us in studio tonight, Shank Hall in Milwaukee. Tickets available, and you have no excuse, people statewide, for not coming to see Steve's show. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. This is Too Good. Drew and KB.